In this video you will learn about a special English word type which is called quantifiers. In German we call these words Mengenangaben. But before I tell you the rules of how to use quantifiers in English, I will tell you a bit about my living room at home. Well, let's together take a look at my living room. In my living room there's a shelf with a lot of books in it. And there are several very special books. There are several Harry Potter novels, my favorite novels in the world. There are also a few jars of candy in my living room. But in this jar there's only a little candy left. Moreover, there's a very special shelf in my living room. There's a shelf where I collect many souvenirs from my favorite island in the world. This island is called Ameland. Ameland is in the Netherlands. But also there's a shelf where I collect some special items from my trips to Great Britain. You can see some items I collected in Northern Ireland and in Scotland. In all these sentences about my living room, you heard me using English quantifiers. Namely, these English quantifiers are the words several, many, a few, much, a little, some, and a lot of. But when and how do you use these quantifiers? But before we can find out about the rules of how and when to use quantifiers, we need to remember a rule about English nouns. In English, there are two types of nouns, countable nouns and uncountable nouns. Countable nouns, also zählbare Nomen, are those nouns that describe things or objects that you can point a finger at and that you can count. More grammatically said, these nouns have a singular and a plural form. For example, typical countable nouns would be books, chairs, pencils, novels, so all nouns that build a regular plural form with an s at the end, but also irregular plural forms like children or people. Uncountable nouns, however, also nicht zählbare Nomen, are those nouns that have no grammatical plural form. Often these nouns describe substances or more complex concepts. For example, milk or water, or money, air, or information. All these words don't have a plural form. Remembering these rules about countable and uncountable nouns in English is very important for the correct use of English quantifiers. So now, let's look at some example sentences of how to use English quantifiers, and let's find out about the rules. Let's start with the quantifiers, many, several, and a few. Here are some example sentences. I took many photos. There are several books in my room. I found a few friends at my new school. On the right you can see the translation of all three quantifiers. Let's take a closer look at the nouns the quantifiers refer to in the example sentences, by at first underlining them and then defining whether these nouns are countable or uncountable nouns. In the first sentence there's the noun photos, and we see an s at the end of the noun, so it's a countable noun. In the second sentence the quantifier several refers to the noun books. Again we see an s at the end, so it's again a countable noun. And in the last sentence we see the quantifier a few, and that refers to the noun friends, again a countable noun. We see that these three quantifiers only stand with countable nouns. Therefore we can already make the first rule. You can use the quantifiers many, several, and a few only with the plural of countable nouns. But there are still some other quantifiers. Let's take a look at the quantifiers much and a little. Again, here are a few example sentences. I haven't got much time. I've only got a little money in my wallet. I drink my coffee with much milk in it. Again, on the right you can see the translation of the two quantifiers much and a little. Let's again analyze the nouns a bit closer. In the first example sentence, there stands the quantifier much together with the noun time. Time is a typical uncountable noun. In the second example sentence, we see the quantifier a little, and there it refers to the noun money. Money is also an uncountable noun. And in the last sentence, we see again the quantifier much together with the noun milk. Milk is a substance and a typical uncountable noun. You can see in all three example sentences that the quantifiers much and a little only stand with uncountable nouns. And that also is the second rule. You can use the quantifiers much and a little only with uncountable nouns. And finally, there's a last type of quantifiers, the quantifiers sum and a lot of. Let's take one last time a look at example sentences. There are a lot of stones on the path. I like a lot of cheese on my pizza. Let's take some nice photos. I need some more information on that topic. On the right, again, you can see the translation of the two quantifiers sum and a lot of. Now, again, we will analyze the nouns in the example sentences. In the first sentence, there stands the quantifier a lot of, and it refers to the noun stones. Stones has got an S at the end, so it's a countable noun. In the second sentence, there's again the quantifier a lot of, and it stands with the word cheese. Cheese is a typical uncountable noun. Therefore, the quantifier a lot of can stand with countable and uncountable nouns alike. In the third example sentence, we see the quantifier sum, and it refers to the noun photos. Photos has got an S at the end, so it's a plural form, and it is a countable noun. In the fourth example sentence, we again see the quantifier sum, and it refers to the noun information. Information is a more complex concept, and it is a typical uncountable noun. Here we can also see that the quantifier sum stands with countable and uncountable nouns alike. Therefore, we can make our final rule. You can use the quantifiers sum and a lot of with uncountable nouns and the plural of countable nouns. Here you can see all three rules that we just made to all three types of quantifiers. If you like to, you can stop the video here and note down the rules. Well, now it's time to practice what we have just learned. In the task you can see here, you have to decide which quantifier you can use in each sentence. Sometimes you can use both quantifiers. If you want to do the task, pause the video here. You will see the solution in a few seconds. Have you finished the exercise? Good, then let's compare. Sentence 1. Our math teacher gives us too much homework. Sentence 2. I couldn't do some of the exercises, Miss Miller. Sentence 3. Would you like a little cream with your coffee, Jake? Sentence 4. In the afternoon, we had some sandwiches and a few fruit. Sentence 5. They gave us some important information at the tourist center. Sentence 6. There was very little time for the test, so I made many mistakes. Sentence 7. There are a few or there are some biscuits in the kitchen, but there isn't a lot of cake left. Sentence 8. We didn't have much rain or we didn't have a lot of rain on our holidays, but it wasn't very sunny either. How did you do? Did you do everything correctly? Then it's time to use quantifiers on your own. Tell me about your room. What have you got a lot of, a few of, some of, or several of? If you like to, you can write it into the comments below. Also tell me if you liked the video. I hope you have learned a lot. See you soon!